4, 3, 2, the converted man here. So, Google it versus citation. This is something that's come up every now and again and been on my mind, and trying to clarify this phenomenon in a way that's coherent for myself and anyone else. So every now and then, somebody will say that something is true or real, and then follow that by telling you to Google it. The information's out there. Go look for it. You'll find it. Go interact with this group, and you'll see that I'm right. Now, obviously, there's problems with that. But it's different than saying, here's the information. This video outlines it. This book outlines it. And so on. Of course, there needs to be a reason given that makes sense for people to look further into that matter. So, for example, somebody might say, read the Bible. Your response might be, I've read it, or why should I? And it's like, well, the Bible will answer your concerns or questions regarding the issue you brought up. Okay. What part are you referring to? Like, can you give me an example? That might be productive. Now, I guess somebody might say, well, if you suggest a book and the person says, well, what in that book will clarify my misunderstanding about biological evolution? You might need to give that. You might want to clarify that. So how do you go about that? What's the burden that you have to try to get them to look at the video or look at the source that you're providing? But at least you're providing something rather than telling them, well, go look for it. That's very nebulous. I suppose the key difference is the nebulous nature of the information's out there, go educate yourself, versus the link is this, or here's where it talks about this in detail. This is way too much to cover here. Here's a video that covers it way better than I could, etc. So there's a difference there of quality of answer, if you understand where I'm coming from on that. Hopefully, I'm gonna pull up a specific example from my own, my own past here, recent past. And so that was in a video, a hangout I did, or a comment section on a video I did. Let's see, that was the platform, I believe. Yeah. So in that, the person that made the video originally had responded in text to my video, and that was, that I didn't. Totor had said they watched the whole video and they liked that I didn't agree with deplatforming, but they wanted me to respond to the arguments presented in the New York Times article that they discussed and showed on screen. Well, yeah, they did discuss that article and show it on screen, but they didn't provide a link to the article in their description. When I pointed this out and asked them for a link, they began to argue with me about posting the link. Why do I have to give you the link? It's easy enough to Google since you know what the article is. It should be the first result that comes up. Or you could just provide the source, I say. It's funny when I see an article on screen and video that I want to read for myself. I'll just take note of it and blah. You know, if I can do that for myself, why can't you do it for yourself? Especially when you're talking about 60 seconds of work. So I wonder how long that took to type that out and hit respond. In that time, couldn't they have just given me the link instead? Yes, it might be true that they don't have a problem with doing it. But for whatever reason, I'm not doing it. So why don't they just give me the link? And this is kind of a, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to refuse because you want me to do it. You know, I'll show you. Haha, you know, and I'm like, no, well, you know, I'm just as stubborn as you are. I'm not going to look it up. And there's reasons for that. One reason is that this is for creationist claims for people that think the Earth is young or that biological evolution is false. I've noticed and this is, you know, something I've noticed, so it might not be true across the board, that there is a trope that that people like this will not give you a direct quote, a direct link to what they're talking about. That they will tell you to go find it. You know, Google it. It's out there, you know. There's lots of things about this. Go read a book. What book? What do you know, they won't even tell you what book to read. They'll just say, go read books. What do you Okay, well, I read William Blake's poetry. That didn't seem to help me on the topic. You know, what do you give me something to go on here? And I've noticed that when I was doing text debates before I came to YouTube to do my videos. So, you know, but again, it's my notice of things, so it might not be true across the board. But again, here's somebody that's saying, yeah, there's a link out there, go get it. And they could easily provide the link. So we go back and forth with them not providing the link and me demanding that they do. And finally, they just say no. And that's the end of it. Like, okay, well, I'm not going to do it. You're not interested in giving me it. Now, you might say, well, you could Google it. Yes, but the first result, although they said it should be the first result, it might not be. Now, what if the first result is something different? Or what if the article changed in the meantime, or any number of possibilities? So then I could be accused of straw man, couldn't I? So why didn't they provide it in their video? Who knows? Why did they not give it here? Who knows? Now, somebody else, I believe it, Lady Unicorn had found the article and said, yeah, it doesn't seem to support what he's saying in the video in the first place. So maybe that's why he didn't give me the link. I don't know, but I'm like, look, that's not really the point. The point is that it's his burden to provide the source of what he's talking about, not my burden to go get it. So go Google it is bad. Here's a book. Here's an article. Here's something that talks about this in depth. That at least is something. Then you get to the, well, what more should I give them? And I suppose that might be more subjective, more technical, you know, as far as like, well, you know, how do you convince them to go look at the book? Well, you can't really do that, but you can at least give good argument. Look, this is a really easy to understand explanation of this phenomenon. And, you know, here's this video that's like 10 minutes long. I mean, you know, it's a intro into it. And, you know, if you want more, I've got tons more to give you. Yeah, I've offered people books on logic or talking about that or whatever as you know, like willing to teach you that to the best of my ability if you want, you know, and you know, I'll buy you the book and send it to you if you can't afford it, you know, things like this. So, you know, people don't necessarily take you up on that offer for whatever reason. But I made the offer, you know, at least, you know, I went to the highest point that I could to try to get the result that I wanted to get, which is much better than telling them it's out there somewhere, it's on the net, you know, go find it, go look it up, go understand it, go take a class, go learn. It's like, yes, maybe they should do that, ideally, but shouldn't I do some effort on my part to give them some sort of motivation to do so? Now, I've heard, well, if you're interested in this topic, you can go look it up. Well, that's true. If you are interested in the topic, you would go look into it. But maybe you're not that interested in the topic, and they're the one that's presenting the information about that topic, and you have more questions to ask. Why wouldn't they just give you more sources to look at rather than saying, well, it's out there, go look for it, whatever? It seems like somewhat confusingly lazy on their part in a way. It's like, well, why did you bother to make a video talking about this information only to then say, well, I'm done talking about it, go look for it, I'm tired of it now. It's just kind of weird. So anyways, looking forward to any and all comments on this, and that's all I got for you. Till next time. Something, I don't know, I got nothing to. How do I end this? I don't know, just hit the button. Bye.